Hello, love wrestling. It is Sunday morning. It is 10 a.m. And you know what that means? It is, you can see my partner in crime, Drew, is here. We are back firmly AEW on a big Sunday this week, as tonight is AEW Revolution. Tonight is the final match of the legendary career of Sting.
Yes.
And we are going to be diving in deep on the Revolution preview. We are going to go through Dynamite and Collision, probably not as in depth as we normally do, because we want Revolution to be the main chunk of this episode today. But there were things that happened on both shows that pertain to Revolution tonight, so we will talk through those and then dive into Revolution. You might have seen Drew join Pluggo and myself and Mike from Indeed on Thursday for the second hour of Beards. We did do a Revolution preview there, Beard style. So today will be more of the firmly AEW style that Drew and I have for a Revolution preview. But first and foremost, Drew's been sick the last few weeks. That's why we haven't been here. As you see, he already did have to mute to cough, so I think it's still lingering a little bit.
Oh yes.
But how are we feeling over there, my friend?
Some good days and some bad days.
Fair enough.
Today they didn't wake up very good, so I'll be muting myself a lot probably.
It's okay.
Like right now.
It happens. It happens. But yeah, let's dive right into it. No beating around the bush. I'm glad you're at least well enough to be here, because I really enjoy doing this show with you on Sunday morning. So when we don't do it, even though the Sunday opens up and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go have an early brunch, maybe some beverages, maybe have whatever. Like, I'm like, no, I'd rather be talking with Drew.
It throws the world off balance.
I was going to say, it throws the balance off a little bit. But if you're here watching, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. It helps Love Wrestling in general, but it helps me and Drew.
I keep forgetting we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube now, bud. We're on YouTube now. So give us a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We're growing over here, but the more likes, the more subscribes, the more shares we get, the more we show up in the algorithm for people who maybe haven't found us yet and stuff like that. So any likes, we appreciate. If you want your comment shown on the screen, you can always send a super chat in as well. We are always appreciative of that. That helps pay the bills here. And, as we continue to grow, those are things that you can do to help us. But let's dive in. We'll start with Dynamite. I felt like Dynamite was more, Collision I thought had good points last night, but it was a taped go-home show the night before a big pay-per-view. So there wasn't a ton I thought that happened on Collision that would move over to Revolution. I thought it was a solid show. Put it this way. I hopped on the Mark Order watch along last night.
I saw that. That was really cool.
Asian Joe and Kate and Pluggo hopped on towards the last hour or so. And I want to say we talked about Collision maybe 40% of the time. Maybe. Yeah. We spent most of the time talking about a 64-man meat March Madness tournament. That was the majority of the show. Was talking about how we would plan that out. It was a good time.
Yeah. Collision was definitely kind of a phone it in for the most part.
There were things I liked.
Good promos.
There was the Wardlow promo, excellent. And we'll talk about it, but I very much like how they're letting Wardlow talk, because that guy can talk. And I like the fact that
Yeah.
they're kind of giving him a mic and letting him go out there. Hey, man, you got 10 minutes. Let loose.
2 for 2. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
crushing it.
killing it on
He's been crushing
promos
it.
right now.
Yes. But yeah, Collision did have some good things. But let's start with Dynamite first. And like I said, it'll be more of a skim through ish version, because we want to dive into Revolution and how we're feeling. Because I think, most AEW pay-per-views they haven't had many misses. But I think tonight has a chance to be a special one. The card is looking very, very good. Very, very good. All right. So Dynamite opened up with Hangman, Adam Page,
Man.
walking down to the ring on a crutch. He gets in the ring, and the whole thing was he was going to address the situation of whether he was going to be able to fight tonight at Revolution. He's looking somber. He's playing the part. He grabs a mic, and, he basically says that he is not cleared to compete Sunday night at Revolution. And then all of a sudden, Swerve comes on down. And Swerve says, I didn't expect this to happen. But then he starts telling Hangman, I respect you, man. Like, we've been through hell together. I respect you. I want you in that match on Sunday. And I did not expect this to happen. And Swerve was kind of playing the straight and narrow here.
Yes.
When it came, kind of putting Hangman over, talking about how much he respects him and all stuff like that. And then that leads, Swerve says, I respect you, but it's my destiny to win the AEW World Championship. And then we hear Samoa Joe's music hit. Samoa Joe comes out and he says, it doesn't matter if it's one of you, it's two of you. I don't care. I'm whooping both your asses on Sunday. It doesn't matter. I'm not losing this belt. I'm Samoa Joe, and I'm going to kick the crap out of everybody. And then Swerve, then directed towards Joe, he goes, hey, man. He goes, I don't think you understand who you're dealing with. And he starts going over the terrible things that he's done. And in one of those things, he says, I broke into a man's house and threatened his infant child. Now, that man is Hangman Adam Page, who is standing behind him. And at that point, Hangman takes his crutch and hits Swerve with the crutch. And we see that Hangman is perfectly healthy. And he's moving around on that ankle. It looks It looks fine. It looks fine. And he beats down Swerve, and he grabs a mic, and he's yelling at Joe, and he's saying, I'm winning the title. I can't lose. I can't lose. He continued on Thursday, and I mentioned it last night on the watch along. Swerve has turned Hangman into a crazy man.
Yes.
And that's what's going on
and
here.
Now we can talk about this now too. That carried into Collision.
It did.
Because Collision had 2 really great promos from Hangman and Swerve.
They did.
And
They did.
You have what they said?
So Swerve cut a promo backstage. He was first. The notes that I have, he said he would not forget Hangman swerving him on Wednesday.
Yes. He hung the hangman, so Swerve was then swerved. That was a really good line. I like that line.
Yep. And then he warned Samoa Joe that he was going to beat him and win the AEW World title at Revolution. I had more of a gist. I don't know if you remember exact lines and stuff. I kind of just write the...
I just remember the hung the hangman.
Yeah, hung the hangman. That was a good one. And then later on, Hangman was interviewed backstage, and this was excellent. They both were good, but he's losing his mind. The interviewer basically says, hey, are you all right? Is everything fine? And Hangman just blows a gasket. And he just
calls the guy a dumbass.
Yeah, calls him a dumbass. He scolds him. He's screaming at the guy. He says he's fine. He apologizes to the fans for abusing our trust. But he said he had to do it to stop Swerve Strickland from winning the AEW World title. And he said he can't lose tomorrow or tonight. He can't lose. He can't lose. Swerve can't win. Swerve can't win. And it just continued the trend of, and we'll talk about it when we get to Revolution, but it continued the trend of Hangman with this new kind of fringy, heelish character is he is just literally losing his mind because of Swerve Strickland. And I love it. I love it. I love everything they're doing with it, Drew. I'm all in on it.
Everything that has been done in the past year with Hangman and Swerve has been excellent. It's been beautiful, really. They have become one of the biggest feuds in the company's history.
Yep.
And it hasn't, and it's, I think it was like last year's Double or Not, right after Double or Nothing or Forbidden Door that this started. So it was like mid-year last year that Swerve came out and was calling Hangman out.
Yeah, I think it was
Talking about
on
his
the way.
spot.
It was on the way to Full Gear. I think was it right? Did
No,
they have
that's late.
Is that
That's
later?
later on
When
in
did
the
they
year.
have the death match there? The one
That
where he
was at
drank the
Full
blood.
Gear.
Yeah, so I think it was after Double or Not. Was it after Double or Nothing?
It had to
that
be
they
like after
started?
Double or Nothing, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
It
Or
was
it
like
after?
summertime.
Yeah. Either way.
No,
No, because they didn't fight it All In, right? All In, they weren't involved with each other. And then All Out. So was it after All Out?
There we go.
Whoa. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah, quick. I don't know. Either way.
Yeah. Oh, you know why? Because in the summer, it was like right mid to end of summer that it started because Swerve was doing the deal with AR Fox and Nick
Fox
Wayne.
and yes.
So that was like, so I would say it was like All Out. It was right after All Out.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have been firing on all cylinders. It's been
Love it.
one of the greatest things to watch on AEW TV. And this segment that they did on Wednesday reignited the reason why Samoa Joe is going to retain, because Swerve didn't have that anger in him anymore.
Agreed.
Like Hangman has. He came out, like you said, he was playing straight and narrow. He was playing the baby face, really.
Yep.
He was poised to be the baby face in that feud, in that match.
That's what, yeah. Yeah.
And then he gets hit with that crutch, and it reignited the rivalry between the two of them. And
we're going to,
what Samoa Joe is going to take advantage of.
100%. And we'll talk about it when we talk about that triple threat in Revolution. But I think, I think that is going to come into a major part of this match tonight, which, like you said, where Samoa Joe, a lot of people, and again, I don't want to, talk about it now because I know but a lot of people think it's Swerve's time. And I don't disagree.
Neither do I, honestly.
However,
there's something about, we talked about this on Beards. There's just something about Samoa Joe right now.
Yes.
It's just like, you gotta maybe just not end that yet.
Yeah. All right. We then had a great trios 6-man tag match with Blackpool Combat Club, Danielson, Moxley, and Claudio against FTR and Eddie Kingston. This was kind of a preview for tonight, as FTR is going up against Moxley and Claudio, and Danielson and Kingston are having a one-on-one match for the Triple Crown Championship. Really good 6-man. Really, really good. The match ended with Bryan Danielson passing out Eddie Kingston in that kind of leg lock maneuver where he's kind of flexing right in their face as he's doing it and stuff like that.
I love it.
But it was really, really good. It was really, really good, as you would expect. I expect both those matches tonight to be very, very good. We then had a thing about Jericho, who gives a shit. And then we had Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay is called down to the ring by Tony Schiavone, comes out to a huge babyface reaction. Huge. Gets in the ring. He said he's here to pick up where he left off. He's kind of running through the stuff he's already done in AEW to this point. I really
like that he did that.
I did too, because it's not like this is the first time we've ever seen him in AEW. Like, he's been around before. So I liked how he kind of, retold us all, like, in case anybody forgot. He's like, "No, I've been here. I've done some stuff here." So I like that. And then we see the Don Callis family interrupt and come to the ring. Callis is getting booed by the audience, but he's basically hyping up the match, saying, I got two of the best wrestlers in the world. They're both with me. I run this shit. It's going to be Ospreay versus Takeshita. This match has a chance to be easily the best match on the show tonight. From an in-ring perspective, at the very least. We got Pluggo in the chat saying so much hotness on screen. Thank you, babe. Thank you, babe. And then they shake hands. And as they're going away, Takeshita kind of holds on to the handshake and kind of turns Ospreay back in his direction, kind of gives him a smirk. And then Takeshita gets ready to leave, and Ospreay kind of returns the favor. So clearly some tension building. And we talked about it a little bit on Beards, but I'll talk about it right now. Will Ospreay is not long for the Callis family.
No.
He's a babyface. That guy's he's a babyface. Like the second that reaction happened and they were in the ring together, it was very clear that it was like, okay, Ospreay does not belong here. Like the Ospreay, the crowd will not have it that Ospreay is with these people. But in general, I thought it was a pretty good segment. I'm very much looking forward to the Ospreay Takeshita match tonight. It should be incredibly good. And we'll talk about what we think is going to happen in the match. But I thought all in all, it was a decent promo. I mean, I have a ton of interest in the people that are in the Callis family, besides Don Callis. I do not have a ton of interest in the Don Callis family. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I actually agree with that. The people within the Don Callis family are great. Will Hobbs and excuse me, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah,
but I don't really want them in the Don Callis family.
Yeah.
Because
I would like
don't
them to
think
do
the
their
Don
own thing.
Callis family matters. As much as Don Callis is a great manager and gets a hell of a lot of heat,
Yeah.
I feel like he was best just with Takeshita for some reason.
Yeah, I felt like, because Takeshita, with the history with Omega and beating Omega, it made the most sense. Then when they started bringing in, like, if we're speaking honestly, right? And I know you and I are both pro Will Hobbs guys. We like Will Hobbs a lot. What has Don Callis and what has the Callis family and being involved really done for Hobbs? Has it elevated Hobbs? Because at this point, I feel the same about Hobbs that I felt 6 months ago, that they're not utilizing him enough.
No, he's just still beating up Chris Jericho. Which, hey, I mean, Chris Jericho deserves to get beaten up, but I don't need to see him get beat up for months by the same person.
100%. 100%. We got Omar in the chat saying, what's good, guys? He says he got Swerve. He has Swerve Strickland piecing out. FTR and BCC gonna firmly rule. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. I think the whole event tonight is gonna be, it's gonna rule. It's gonna be very good. But I just agree. I just feel like you said, Don Callis is a good manager. I think he's an easy person to put with somebody that you need to get heat with, or you just want to elevate if they can't talk great off the top. Like Callis can talk, he can get heat.
He doesn't need a family.
No, like what's the family doing? Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It mattered at the beginning with the Omega stuff, and then a little bit with the Jericho stuff, and then that got stale real quick. And now I just feel like
there should have never been a Jericho involvement to begin with.
I don't disagree.
That was the Jericho Kenny Omega thing. Jesus Christ.
Sucked.
Why? There was no reason for that at all.
It sucked.
Yeah, I'm just going to be shitting on Chris Jericho now. Sorry. I've had enough. So, it's I mean, it's time to kind of break off some of these random faction style things going on in AEW right now. Think about how many factions there are in this. You probably can't even name them all because that's how many there are.
Mm-hmm.
And half of them are just random people thrown together. Don Callis family, random people thrown together. Now you got this private party included with Jeff Jarrett and Satnam and all those people. Random.
Yeah.
You've got Dark Order and random, but it's still a faction. You've got the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. You've got the Undisputed Kingdom. You've got
BCC.
BCC. You've got so many of them. This one, the Embassy.
Yeah,
I mean,
Embassy.
there's another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The Patriarchy. There's just so many, and it makes for a great trios division. Unfortunately, most of them aren't doing anything in the trios division.
Yeah.
They're just circling around the shows, inserting themselves in random stuff. So, we don't need, and I'll say honestly, out of all the factions mentioned, Don Callis' faction is the most unnecessary.
I mean,
At
it's
least,
probably true.
at least Sanjay Dutt is entertaining.
It's true. You see him dancing last night?
It was funny. So, there's got to come a time where we focus the 6-man people, the trios people, into the trios division. I think they have more factions than they do titles at this point. And I know I'm forgetting some because there's just so many.
I mean, there's still some that I think still exist, but they just haven't, Death Triangle. They still a thing. You know what I mean? I know Pac hasn't been around, but when he comes back around, are they still affiliated with each other? You know what I mean?
My
cat.
Yeah.
There it is.
So yeah, I mean, sorry, we went on this little rant about the trios division, and factions, but it just needs to be said sometimes. There's got to be a point in time where faction warfare needs to be, reined in a little bit.
I can't do anything. Can't do anything around here.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna move you, bub. Yeah. All right. So we then had an AEW International Championship match. Orange Cassidy defeated Nick Wayne. This match was fine. Nothing, nothing out of the box or nothing unnormal, but the match was fine. You come back up? Sure are. The match was fine. True. Do you see the shit?
I know.
Yeah, at least he's up there. This guy's
right now.
No, I'm just invading your space. Yeah. Look at him. Rubbing up on the mic.
He bites the mic.
Totally I just got bit right here. Totally like I don't have a show. Lou, I need the mouse, bro. Anyway. So okay, Lou is literally just Okay, bud. So we had that. At one point, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett came out and tried to distract OC, and then Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero came out. It turned into a kind of, how it normally does. Can you hear Lou? Can you hear Lou purring into the mic? Because I can hear it in my headphones like you dream about.
Yeah, I do hear it a little bit. Yeah, now you're muted. But I think you did it on purpose, right? I can't hear you. Lou did something. Oh, that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you have pets. Aren't they fun? Yeah. So, I had actually the card in front. There we go. So, I could talk a little bit about. Okay. So, I was going to talk to JPJ about kind of changing up the format a little bit on the air, but I'm just going to do it now, and hopefully he can hear me. So I'm going to run down the Revolution card, and then we're going to talk about what happened on Dynamite and Collision that led up to that, basically. So, I hear you.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Fucking Lou. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Leave it to my cat to sabotage the stream. He does every one of my streams when I'm on Twitch. So I don't mind if he's in here, but it's like, bro, come on.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you just got to shut the door and keep it shut.
You make me look like a clown. Lou. And my thing is, I do shut the door, but he literally claws at the door and cries the whole fucking time I'm in here.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like if I let you in here, I know what's going to happen. So do I let you out there and cry for an hour and feel like a dickhead? Or do I let you in here to ruin the show? Like what
I
what's
I
the
can
balance of things?
yeah,
Your cat is chilling up there. He's
I
out of the frame, just having a good
for the
time.
moment,
But
he
he's
can be a
he was
prick
sleeping a
sometimes
little
too,
bit. Now
trust
he's
me.
grooming. Like he's just chilling up there,
Yeah.
having a good time. My cat's like, I'm hopping on the desk and I'm knocking everything over. I don't give a shit.
They
It's
don't
like,
do
bro,
that at least.
this show ain't about you. This show ain't about you.
Yeah.
You know?
So
Anyway.
so what when we started the show, I was thinking like, "Oh, you know what would be a really cool concept on pay-per-view days? Is if we go one by one throughout the match card for the pay-per-view, and
Mm.
then talk about what happened on Dynamite and Collision
We could do
leading
that.
into that match. So
We could
like
do that.
so like we had the All-Star 8-man scramble is gonna be happening on the
Sure
show.
is. Sure is.
And Chris Jericho, Hobbs,
Mm-hmm.
Lance Archer, Wardlow, Dante Martin, Hook, Brian Cage, and who is that?
There's somebody from CMLL.
CMLL. Yes, I don't remember
Magnus.
their name.
I think it's
Um,
Magnus or something like that. Magnum?
Yes,
Magnus?
I think
Magnus?
that's right. Yeah, somebody in the chat correct us, please, if we're wrong. Um, so yeah, so on Collision, two things happened involving this match.
Mm-hmm.
One was Dante Martin winning a trios match or a triple, whatever we call them, three-way, between himself, Penta, and Brian Keith in a really, really fun match. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to point out, I didn't know Brian Keith was as flippy
Oh, Brian Keith is, yeah, I was talking about last night. He's great. I like him a lot.
yeah, I really enjoy it. That's actually a really good style for that man. I liked that match a lot, and a lot of it
Mm-hmm.
was because of him. I did not expect that at all because I'm not really, well versed in Brian Keith.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know he was capable of doing some of that stuff. So I'm really happy to have seen that, and I hope we see more of that.
100%.
Um, so that happened on Collision, and then we had a really, really great Wardlow promo
Mm.
that featured Chris Jericho.
Sure did.
And Wardlow is doing something special lately where I think he's like tapped into this realism,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really letting us know how pissed off he's been lately. Like this isn't like it doesn't even feel like a scripted promo, honestly.
Yeah.
It feels like the mic is being handed to him and he's being told, "Go off, King.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go off," and
I
he
agree.
is.
Yeah.
He
I
has
thought,
referenced CM Punk.
yep.
He has referenced MJF.
Mm-hmm.
He has referenced, and specifically in this promo last night on Collision, his line about how after his stock rose in that Double or Nothing match with MJF, it quickly sunk really
Mm-hmm.
quick, and that's real. That's really what happened.
Yep.
He was one of the hottest acts in the company until MJF's shoot promo the night after Double or Nothing.
Yep.
Well, not the night after, but the show after Double or Nothing, where he called Tony Khan an effing mark,
Yep.
and all of the heat that was on Wardlow was just sucked out. It was
Yep.
gone because nobody cared about him anymore. It was
Mm-hmm.
all about MJF. And unfortunately, the booking reflected that as well.
Yep.
And he said in this promo, he was sitting at home for 3 months with nothing to do, and it was pissing him off.
Yep.
And he finally woke up and said,
Yep.
"That's it. I'm coming back, and I'm gonna show all of you who I really am."
Yep.
And I say he's been succeeding in doing that.
I fully agree. I think the promo that he cut on Dynamite was also excellent. I thought the one last night, I like you said, when he said, "Hey, I was home for 3 months, not doing anything. I was pissed off. I was broken. And I did what I had to do is I got up, I dusted myself off, I fixed myself. And then I said, I'm going to come here and prove to everyone who I am. And that's Wardlow. And I'm going to run through everybody." And I thought that there's a certain, like you said, we're all human beings. I think at one point we all have had that moment where we're kind of in a funk or we're in a rut or we're not feeling great about ourselves or our situation. And a lot of people can let that take a hold of them, and it can let that, that becomes who they are and stuff like that. And I think, you know, it's hard sometimes to kind of stand up and be like, okay, I got to get through this. I got to push through this. I got to do something to get through it or fix my whatever. And I thought him talking about that, like, that's a very real promo that a lot of people can relate to
Yeah.
that. We're not all 6'2", 270 pounds, ripped to shreds, handsome like Ward. We don't all look like Wardlow, but we all have gone through probably something like that where we've been in a situation where the only person that was going to get out of it was us. And I just think the realism to what he was talking about can relate to a lot of people. And I think you have a lot of people reacting. Like we were watching it on the watch along last night, and Asian Joe was like, I think Wardlow is going to about to be a big baby face soon. He keeps on cutting promos like that. And we were all like, yeah,
I agree with that.
because yeah, he's saying he's going to destroy everybody and blah, 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 but he's not cutting a heel promo. That's him being authentic, vulnerable, real. That's him just being a real person talking about that shit. And that is what gets people to cling to you and want to root for you and get behind you, is that, because the regular folk buying tickets like you and me, we hear we view, sometimes you see these wrestlers and a lot of people think they're larger than life and they're, for the kids, they're superheroes and all these things and stuff like that. But when you hear them talking about real shit like that, that's what gets people behind you. You know what I mean? So he's been killing it. And then the thing that happened on Collision, obviously they tied it into the scramble because Hobbs got involved, beat the crap out of Jericho at the end.
We don't need to mention the Jericho part.
Yeah.
The only positive thing I can talk about in the Chris Jericho part of the segment is that he cut off his own Judas music.
Yeah.
And I was really happy about that. That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Although I kind of feel like because it was taped, they probably ran through the entire Judas music.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then just cut it halfway and had Jericho start talking.
Yeah.
Which we could do that more. That would be fine with me. Yeah, so that takes care of the 8-man scramble part. Well, actually, no, that's not true because they're also in.
Well, Dante Martin won a match last night on Collision.
So Dante Martin won the match.
So he was the 8th and final competitor. So he's the 8th guy in
there. Hook and Brian Cage were involved in a match regarding Christian Cage and Daniel Garcia, who are going to have their TNT Championship match tonight. That I'm really excited about because, I mean, unfortunately, I said this on Beards. I know Daniel Garcia is not going to win this because the person who's going to take that off of him is Adam Copeland. It's going to be Adam Copeland. It deserves. It needs to be him. He deserves it. He won it for a split second at World's End, and I was there for that, and I was really happy about that. And then the chicanery started with Kill Switch, Mr. Luchasaurus. Something's got to give there because this Luchasaurus is acting like a big ol',
Yeah.
and and I'm not pointing at the title, I'm pointing up there. He's acting like that, and you know what word I'm talking about.
Yeah, your cat's like, "Why are you pointing at me, dude? Why are you pointing at me?"
Yes, I was referencing you.
We got
He'll be
Lawrence in the
scared
chat.
when
What up, Lawrence? How was IWS last night? The 25th anniversary show. Lawrence and a
Oh,
couple of the
yes,
other
Lawrence was there,
Zach
yeah.
and Mike and a bunch of the Love Wrestling crew were at. Yeah, I mean, I think I like a scramble match. I love a scramble match. I think they are very fun. LPW does a scramble match every month, and they're standouts on the cards. I think scramble matches is a type of match that should be done more often. I look at these 8 guys, and to me, there are 3 possible winners: Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and don't hate me, Drew,
I
Chris
know,
Jericho.
because I agree with you, unfortunately.
Those are the only 3 people I look at in this match, and I go, those are the 3 that I think have a chance to win it. Now, after the last couple weeks, I would give it to Wardlow. I think Wardlow
Oh,
should be
yeah,
the guy.
absolutely.
I think that's where he's probably the betting favorite, I would guess. I should probably get the betting favorites up. But he's probably the betting favorite, Wardlow. I would assume it would be him because they are definitely presenting him in a way that way. And I think that would tie into the other side of Wardlow, where Adam Cole openly on that Undisputed promo said that Wardlow is going to win the AEW Heavyweight Championship. He's going
And
to
then
win
give it to
that belt,
him.
and then he's going to give it to him. So
Very interesting.
I could easily see, especially if MJF is going to be out with all his injuries and things like if they're not going to get back to that story for a while, and Adam Cole is getting closer to being healthy and things of that nature, why not? Why not push Wardlow to the championship picture? Adam Cole then says, "All right, I'm back. I'm healthy. You know the deal. You want it. Give me the belt." And Wardlow goes, "Yeah, no." And then Wardlow is that baby face that
Yeah.
you are clearly presenting him to get, like, that's where he's going, right? So, like, you're clearly presenting him in that, and then you have him versus Adam Cole for the title, either for the title or for not whatever, however you do it. And that presents Wardlow as this new baby face that everyone will be behind.
Yeah. I agree
There's
with
other
that
layers to it that you can eventually get to that have been referenced and things of that nature. But like Dante Martin's going to be there to do some crazy spots and some crazy shit. That's what we know.
Probably take the pin, unfortunately.
Probably. Magnus, I don't know much about. I assume they'll make him look pretty good because of the relationship with CMLL. I don't know much about him. We know Brian Cage ain't going to win. Hook ain't going to win. Lance Archer ain't going to win. So that's kind of
really those 3 guys.
Yeah.
And it really should only be one of those 3 guys.
I agree. I think Wardlow is the prohibitive favorite. He should be. And that's where I would lean, honestly.
Wardlow or Hobbs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
I
it's
could see Hobbs.
probably Wardlow.
I could see Hobbs getting in there too. But those are the 2 that I think that would be the way to go.
So we talked about the Will Ospreay Takeshita segment as well. They're going to have their match.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you thinking? Who do you think is going to win in this match?
I think this goes. Oh wow, Pluggo's throwing a game. Yeah.
If Jericho wins the scramble,
Is that something you would agree to?
Oh God, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he's not going to win. So
Well,
I'm
you
happy.
better
I feel
hope.
pretty
You better hope.
confident.
You better hope on next Sunday. Guess what, Drew? Guess what?
Yeah.
You don't have to agree to it. You don't have to agree to it. But
I agree. You know what? I'm agreeing to it. I agree. I will sing Judas on this show if the Judas himself wins the 8-man scramble.
Wow. Uh-oh.
He won't. But God help me if he does. He better not fucking win now.
Uh-oh, Drew. Yes.
Tony
So,
Khan,
all right.
I hope you do watch the show, but I hope you're not watching this show right now.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I would not. And I mentioned it last night. The one thing that I definitely don't want is Will Ospreay to be involved with the Callis family for the next couple months. I
Agreed.
do not want this to
In
drag out
fact, it
at
should
all.
end tonight.
Yes. Either way, I think again, I would assume Ospreay's going to win. But I think either Ospreay wins and then the family turns on him right after the win,
Agreed. I think
or
that's exactly what's going to happen.
that's where I would lean, or I could see the family turning on him and that gives Takeshita the win because Callis you know what I mean? But that to me would lead to Ospreay hanging around. I mean, either way, it's going to go for a little bit.
It will.
But like,
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be this thing where 2 or 3 months from now, Ospreay's still fucking involved with the Callis family. And I'm like, why? Why is he still here? You know?
Yeah.
But that's just
I
me.
think Osprey is going to win. And that, I think, regardless of what happens in this match, Don Callis has told Takeshita and Hobbs, you're attacking him when the bell rings. Whatever happens, whether he wins or loses. I think it happens tonight, and I don't know Mark Davis's status right now.
No. But yeah, you would
Um,
expect them to break off and be a trios, or at least be a group. I would like Ospreay to stay a singles guy. But
right. Well, as we know from this company, you can be trios, you can be in a
sure.
in a
Sure.
faction of 50 people, and you can still do your own thing for 3 months.
It's true.
So
It's true. You're not lying. You're not lying.
so I think Will Ospreay wins. Takeshita. Now it's gonna. I'm imagining Hobbs will be out for this match too. He has his own match, of course. He's in
Yeah.
the 8-man scramble.
Mhm.
So I don't know what his status will be for um when this, where however the match card is laid out when this match
Yeah.
is in the card. So if it's a little later on, if we have like 3-4 matches after the 8-man scramble, I will imagine that Will Hobbs would be out there.
Mhm.
So but I'm in my head he's out there. So or at least he comes out after the match to attack Will
Yes.
Ospreay. Maybe he's not out
Yes.
there in the ring. Takeshita will be in the ring. Don Callis will definitely be ringside.
Yeah.
What could happen is what happened similarly to Kenny Omega, where Don Callis attacks Don Callis attacks Will Ospreay the
Mhm.
same fashion that he did to Kenny Omega, which
Yep.
causes Takeshita to pin him. I could see that happening,
Yep.
which then could lead later on when Kenny Omega is healthy. Kenny Omega joins with Will Ospreay to take down the faction of the Don Callis family once and for all.
Somebody needs
Because
to.
I'd rather it be Kenny and Will versus Kenny and Jericho.
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. I'm not sure, but I think either way it goes, Osprey is not long for the Callis family, and I agree with you. I would have it happen tonight. I think what we saw on Wednesday should be an immediate okay. Yeah.
I just
Now we
changed
get
my own mind.
there you go. So you think Takesha's
I've
gonna
said
win?
Will Ospreay was gonna win,
Yeah.
but now I think I'm going with Don Callis attacks
Yeah.
him with a
Attack yeah,
screwdriver or whatever,
screws him or something. And then
and then
Takeshita gets the
Takeshita wins.
victory because of it, and then Osprey, gets his revenge
Now
down the line.
here's the bigger thing. Does Kyle Fletcher get involved tonight?
Well, he has what? He has visa issues currently or
Oh, he has
something like
visa
that. Is
issues.
that
That's
why
right.
he's not there? Hopefully they get
I
fixed.
don't know
Well,
if they've been
I think it
resolved
was
yet.
Mike on Beards. It was Mike that said, "I'm just looking forward to the custody battle for Kyle Fletcher."
Yeah.
And I laughed, and it's funny, but like I don't. That's where I get afraid that Will Ospreay is going to be involved in this mess for too long. Because I'm sorry, not the people involved, but Will Ospreay is above this. He's above this. He should be coming in and immediately being near the. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm gonna disagree with you a little
That's
bit
fine. I
because
just, yeah.
I do agree that I'll agree with Will. I don't. I keep saying Kenny Omega for some reason. Will Ospreay. I agree that Will Ospreay, the wrestler, is above this.
Yeah.
But I think that due to the story that they've been telling with him in the Don Callis family,
Mm-hmm. It
it
makes
makes
sense.
sense
Yeah.
to have him feud with the Don Callis family once they attack him and kick him out, because he's not thinking that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's just thinking, "Oh, this is going to be a great match between me and Takeshita. Don Callis is going to be there. Everything's going to be fine."
Yeah.
And then it's not going to be fine. So now, again, I don't know Mark Davis's status, and I don't know Kyle Fletcher's visa status at this point. But I think that um, I think that they're going to run back the Kenny Omega match, and Will Ospreay is going to get attacked by
Yep.
Don Callis while the
Mm-hmm.
ref's not looking, and then Takeshita to take advantage and win. I've said on Beards that Will Ospreay was going to win, but I've
Yep.
changed my mind.
Switching it. Hey, it's before the show. You're allowed. You're allowed. All right, let's run through the rest of this card then, and we'll kind of do it that way. They did announce a 0-hour match. It'll be a 12-man tag. It's the Bang Bang Scissor Gang up against Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, Willie Mack getting thrown in there. I love me some Willie Mack.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm happy about that.
And Private Party. I would assume this is, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang will get the victory here. But I expect this to just be, kind of a nonsense 12-man tag where everything's kind of loose,
Yeah.
It breaks down, everyone's just running
The
around.
only thing that interests me about this the most is that something obviously is happening with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang soon, because I'm starting to think now. I don't know for sure, but I actually am starting to think that the um that the botch, the rap botch 2 weeks ago, or last week,
Was on
whenever it was,
purpose. It's planned.
I think it was on purpose.
Yeah.
Or they're pivoting really well.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to feel like it's on purpose. I haven't watched it back yet, but from what I remember him just like looking to the side at somebody from Bullet Club Gold that was next to him, and then it was just like, meh. And I thought, because it came after the line about management, I thought it was going to have something to do with the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But last night, Jay White caused Max Caster to flub a bit and stop his rap.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that something's brewing here.
Yeah.
And maybe soon, maybe even tonight, who knows? Bang Bang Scissor Gang is going to be no more.
Maybe.
And of course, we're going to have probably a winner take all match between the two trios.
Yeah.
Which I think that's Bullet Club Gold's time to shine. I think they need to win that match.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with the Acclaim from there. But I would like to see something come of that soon, because I love Jay White. I don't know how much longer Juice is going to be out for.
Yeah, he's missed.
Yeah, I miss him a lot.
Yeah, big time.
But yeah, that's really all I care about in regards to this match, because I don't care about the other people.
That's fair. That's fair. They also announced a tag team match. It will be Julia Hart and Sky Blue going up against Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, who will be
I'm interested
Stokely Hathaway. I am very interested. I loved Willow last night on Collision, being serious.
Yeah.
and saying that they're going to whoop their ass. That's what they said. We're going to kick your friggin' asses. And I loved it. I am really digging the Stokely
Damn,
Hathaway,
Pluggo,
Chris
you already got that
Statlander
shit on
stuff.
Twitter?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, why do
This
I have so
match,
many notifications right now?
this should be fun. This should be fun. This match should be good. I don't know if this will be 0 hour as well.
I believe it is 0 hour.
Yeah, they announced this is 0 hour too. That makes sense. But yeah, no, I'm intrigued by this. I like all 4 of these girls, and yeah, this should be a good match tonight.
When you get Willow fired up, you better watch out.
Damn right. You're damn right. So that should be fun. I again with the 0 hour car, like, yeah, it matters who wins. Does it, like, I don't know. I always feel like the 0 hour, like whoever wins that 12-man tag, like you just assume that it's gonna be the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, maybe. But like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. All right. We then have another tag team match. It is FTR going up against the Blackpool Combat Club, who will be represented by Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli.
We touched on the 6-man match that happened on Dynamite already.
It was an excellent 6-man match.
Yes. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said on Beards. There's a cloud looming over somebody in FTR right now. And I don't think that they're going to be on TV after this match, because what else can they be doing while they're on trial for an alleged gun incident?
It's fair.
I think it'll be a little strange for him to just be in feuds and wrestling while this very serious thing is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's just me. I could be wrong. But I feel like this is John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli's match to win. And because honestly, I don't even know what comes of FTR after this. Whether they won or lost, I don't know what they would be doing.
I know what they'll be doing.
What?
They're going to be going after the new tag team champions, the Young Bucks. I mean, that's what I think they'll be doing. But don't say You say They have a magic tag team matches every time they fight each other.
I know. Yeah. I mean, their matches are great. I'm not saying I would hate it.
I think the winner, honestly though, and again, I don't want to. I mean, I just spoiled what I think is going to happen in probably the main event, but I think the winner of this tag match will be the first challengers for the. Again, there are some people that think Sting isn't going to go old school and go out on his back, and he's going to win, and then I guess what do? You vacate and do a tournament, or you figure it out, I guess. I don't like that. I don't like vacating titles.
No,
I think Sting,
I don't think.
I think Sting is an old school guy. I think he probably, if he had his choice, again, I don't know the fucking guy, so I don't know. But I would think if Sting had his choice, I feel like he would be old school and be like, I want to go out on I want to put somebody over. I want to go out on my back. And I think there's a way that the Young Bucks can win the titles, do what they got to do, leave, and then Sting still has that moment with all of us and everybody in the arena. And there's a way to go about it. But I think the winner of this match, of this tag match, would be the first contenders. I know we have rankings now, too, that you need to take into account as well. Yeah, again, that's right. I understand that. But to me, this feels like a monster tag match with tag team title implications. That's what I'm getting.
I don't know
and Scott
where they are in the rankings.
And we're going to talk about the main event in depth later. But Scott says right here, Darby is also climbing Mount Everest in April. So he's not going to be around for a little bit.
Oh, so, right. I forgot about that.
I just think it makes sense, right? Darby takes a couple months off.
I wasn't thinking that Sting and Darby were going to retain anyway.
But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. But and you mentioned it on Beards, because all of us were picking FTR, and then you mentioned the legal stuff that's going on, and then all of us were just like, oh well, what the hell, Drew? You got to bring in. We're talking, fake wrestling world. You don't got to bring in real stuff. But it's not swaying me. I still think FTR wins. Okay. Now, Would I be shocked or upset if the BCC end up winning? Absolutely not, because I truly love both these teams. I just think the FTR and the Young Bucks make too much sense. They've always made too much sense. I think a match for the tag titles with this new version of the Young Bucks.
Do we
You can
have ranking? Do you have the ranking?
I
I
can
don't even know where to go to find that.
well they released on social media after the first week when they were like, "Hey, we're bringing the rankings back." They released like still photos of it where they were just like a picture of all the rankings, but I don't know if they have still done that. What's the date today? March 3rd. All right,
on the
let's see if I can
AEW
get the
website.
rankings. As of okay, that's too okay. See, like on the website, the only rankings they have are as of August 31st, 2022.
Really?
So,
No, they posted.
do they? Because I'm on the website and
I know
I'm
they
not
did on
seeing
social
it.
media. I remember we just talked. I think on our last show we talked about it. It was updated.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the rankings here, but I can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are things you need to take into account, but I would think the winner of this match will they'll have a ways to go, I think. All right, hold on 1 minute. The AW as seen in tweets below. All right, just give me the friggin' tweet, dude. What the fuck, man? This is so bad. All
AEW
right, yeah.
ranking
So the
February 10th.
AEW, the men's, the way they do it, the top five in the men's is Swerve is number 1, Adam Hangman Page is 2, Adam Copeland is 3, John Moxley is 4, Roderick Strong is 5. The women's, Deanna Purrazzo is 1, Thunder Rosa is 2,
What
Hikaru
what
Shida
what
is
is
3.
what's the date on that?
It just says 2024. It says AEW has released the first set of top 5
I have
rankings for
February
2024.
10th, 2024 rankings.
Yeah, so that might be it. Was
Number
Swerve
one
not?
is one tied for one is Swerve and Hangman.
Yeah,
3, Adam Copeland. 4,
yeah,
John
Moxley
Moxley.
and
5,
Roderick.
Takeshita.
Oh, they got Takeshita as 5. See, I don't even know
That's
where they are right
on
now.
February 10th, 2024 rankings.
Okay.
Um, for the men's championships.
Okay.
So, for the tags,
Yeah, what are
yeah,
we looking like
number
in the
one,
tag? Because that's what
the
we're
number
talking
one
about now.
contenders right now, Ricky Starks and Big Bill,
They're the number 1
as of
contender still.
February 10th. John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli are number 2.
Okay.
FTR is number 5.
Top Flight is 3 and Private Party is 4, huh?
So
Huh.
that makes me think, number 2 might win tonight and become
And then
number
become
1.
number 1. And that's possible. That's possible. And I think that would be, yeah, we haven't seen that. Have we seen the Young Bucks go up against the BC? Like, not, have they?
Maybe once.
I mean, the BCC and the Elite had a thing, obviously. But like, have they
Yes, I did.
had the standalone tag match with the
I don't
Bucks
think so.
versus? I'll be okay with that. I'll be okay with that. Yeah, again, either way, I don't think us the fans lose. I think that tag match is going to be very, very good tonight, and I think, yeah, I'm just still leaning FTR. That's just me, but that's because I'm an FTR mark, and it is what it is.
Understood.
So you know, all right. We then have for the international championship, Orange Cassidy going up against Roderick Strong, who will be accompanied by Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. I think it's time. I think it's time, Drew. As much as I love Orange Cassidy, and as much as this run with him has been special, I know it's been 2 different runs, but I put it all together. It's been special, and he's proven to everybody that he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And those people that still talk crap about him, you're clowns. You're clowns, and you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. This guy has carried this company from an in-ring perspective. Dynamite. He's carried Dynamite for a year, Drew. For a year. Honestly. It's
I
time,
don't
though.
disagree with you there.
It's time, though.
Having said
Roderick
that,
Strong. Roderick Strong is winning this title tonight. 100%.
having said all that lovely stuff,
I might be more confident about him, Roderick Strong, winning this match than any other match. And I was talking about that with Kate last night. I do feel like a lot of these matches tonight, you can talk me in or it can go either way. There are multiple, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And that's a good thing. That makes me really excited about the show tonight. But this match in particular, this is the match I am most confident in that Roderick Strong is winning. I feel like
yeah, I
that's the
agree
most
with that.
confident I am.
I
Am
do
I
agree.
wrong?
Yeah. Well, I'm also very confident in Christian Cage winning. Also,
Well, that's the next one we're going to talk about. So, it is what it is. But like, do you see it? Do you see a scenario where Orange Cassidy retains?
well, yes,
Okay.
only because that seems to be the way Orange Cassidy matches go
That is true.
a
That is
lot.
true.
It's just like, oh yeah, AR Fox is gonna win. Dante Martin's gonna win. Swerve is gonna win. And then all of a sudden they don't.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
fair.
like a quick random like, oh, okay, this match is over now and Orange Cassidy retains. Um so I feel like it's possible that Orange Cassidy retains. I don't see why
Yeah.
at this point because he's basically done it all and it's time for him to be going after something a little more important. Not that the international championship isn't important, but I think it's time for him to be going after another title.
Okay. I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. And you pointed at the TNT title. Well, that is also on the line tonight, and it is Christian Cage defending against Daniel Garcia. Now, we assume that Christian Cage will be accompanied by the patriarchy, his family, Mother Wayne, Nick Wayne, Killswitch. Daniel Garcia, and I mentioned it on Beards. I know I'm not alone. I know it's probably a we at this point. But I've loved what they've been doing with Daniel Garcia. Ever since the Continental Classic, the CC, they have really changed his character and turned him into a likable babyface that the whole crowd gets behind. We've all known how good he is in the ring. We've all kind of had a soft spot for Daniel Garcia because of how good he is and how young he is and stuff like that. But I think him kind of figuring out who he was as a wrestler and who he was as a person during the CC, and then kind of afterwards in the aftermath and how they presented him to this point. I've loved everything they're doing with Daniel Garcia, but I agree with you. I think there's a very slim now, don't get me wrong. This would be a match that, like, even though I love Christian, this would be a match where this would be a wonderful surprise.
Oh yeah,
If
absolutely.
Daniel Garcia pulled it off and it was like, oh my, holy shit. Well, you know what I mean? Like, Daniel Garcia did it. But I agree with you. I think there's probably a slim chance Garcia wins, and you're going to keep this on Christian because why not? Christian is still one of the hottest acts in the company. But I'm rooting for Daniel Garcia. I'm rooting for Daniel Garcia tonight.
Oh yeah, and his stock will rise after this match for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Even in a loss, it definitely will rise. And I'm glad that they pivoted on breaking him and Daddy Magic up.
I am too. I like that. I like Daddy Magic kind of being the older brother mentor. Like, he was on commentary last night during
Yeah,
that 8-man tag. You know what I mean?
and
Like,
he's been
and
on
he got
commentary for
involved.
pretty much all of his matches.
Yes, like, I like that. I like how he's becoming physically involved now. Like, the last couple times that Garcia's been getting beaten up or like bullied, like, double teamed or whatever, like, Daddy Magic has been there to try to help. It hasn't worked out for Daddy Magic, and he's gotten his ass kicked a few times because of it, but he's been there to help him. And I really like that because I think Daddy Magic is somebody that can be a bigger star as well in the company. And I kind of like the pairing with him and
Yeah,
Garcia. I like it a lot.
agreed. So I'm glad that they pivoted on that, and I think it's added more to Daniel Garcia because Daddy Magic is awesome on commentary.
Yeah, he's very good. Very good. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I pick Christian Cage,
Mm,
but Daniel Garcia is not going to look bad in this loss.
no, 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 no. No. I agree. I agree. And hopefully it's on the up and up for Garcia, because that would be I think by the end of the year, Daniel Garcia is going to be a top guy in this company, like truly a top guy in this company. And I think it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. We have a singles match for the Continental Crown Championship. It will be Eddie Kingston defending against Bryan Danielson. And there is a little bit of an extra stipulation in this match is if Danielson loses, he is to shake Eddie Kingston's hand. Because that's really how this whole feud started. Like the extra part of this feud was because
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson refuses to acknowledge Eddie Kingston. He refuses to show respect and acknowledge Eddie Kingston, even after Eddie got the win back and beat him he just refuses. And it's gotten to the point where Eddie just can't handle it anymore. This match, I mean, we've seen it, and it was excellent when we've seen it before. I expect this to be no different. I know you're a Bryan Danielson guy. I am too. I mean, who isn't? But where are you leaning? I know you usually lean Danielson. He's your GOAT. But do you
Well, I
think
said
that
that you
Danielson?
remember what I said on Beard.
Oh, the Jeremy Lambert quote.
Uh,
Do you think that Danielson's winning this Triple Crown tonight, or do you think Kingston pulls through again and
I
keeps it? Again, this is a match that can go either way.
this one can legitimately go
Either way. I am
and
not confident in either way.
in my mind, I go Eddie Kingston. In my heart, I go Bryan Danielson. Because look, while I will say genuinely, John Moxley and Claudio are amazing. Will Ospreay is amazing. Takeshita is amazing. Hobbs is amazing. FTR is amazing. Christian Cage, Daniel Garcia, like all of the people on this show,
Yeah.
Swerve, Hangman, Joe. I mean, there are people that I genuinely love watching.
Mm-hmm.
But my like 1A and 1B are both of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's genuinely hard for me to choose because I just want them both to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I said on Beards, I'm going to reiterate here. If this is really Bryan Danielson, oh, I almost did it. If this truly is Bryan Danielson's last year, I need him to win this match.
Okay.
I need him to win this match because he deserves to be a champion before he's officially done.
It's fair. I'm okay with it.
And I
I'm
would
leaning
love
King.
for him to be AEW champion, but that's
Oh, that'd
not.
be
I don't
amazing.
think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's
So the Continental Crown Championship with the Ring of Honor title and the whatever New Japan title, let him do it. Just let him do it. Forbidden Door is coming up soon, and
Mhm.
Forbidden Door is in my neck of the woods for the first
This year it
time.
is. Yeah.
And I just want to see Bryan Danielson with a title.
It's fair. That's fair. He'll have 3 of them in this case.
Sure. Give him all the
Mhm.
fucking titles.
Yeah.
I want every single title on that man.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
deserves it before he's officially done.
It's fair. It's fair. I'm leaning Eddie Kingston here. I think he retains, but you're not going to be. I mean, you don't have to talk. You don't have to talk me up a lot to believe that Bryan Danielson can win a big time match because he is one of the all timers. But I'm with you. I'm with you. You're saying my brain wants to say Eddie Kingston, but my heart says Danielson. I'm leaning Eddie Kingston as well. But this match should be very good. I expect this match to be a standout match. We then have a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. It will be Timeless Toni Storm, who will be accompanied by Mariah May and Luther, against Deonna Purrazzo. The promo segment they had last night on Collision, I enjoyed a lot. I think that camera view that they do now with the half black and white, amazing.
That is such an amazing visual. This, honestly,
yeah, it is such an amazing
of the
visual.
Black and white and the color is amazing.
It's incredible. I love it. Now, this is a match, another one, where I think it can go either way. I think Toni Storm can retain, but I think they've shot Deonna Purrazzo straight to the world title picture immediately upon her arrival. Would we be shocked if they pulled the trigger and did the whole thing and gave her the belt? I don't think I would be.
I wouldn't be, but I feel like it's not going to happen yet.
Okay, that's fair. And we have a massive debut a couple Dynamites away who will change the women's division in AEW. So we need to take that into account of kind of where she's going to fit in and stuff like that. Do we, a lot of people think Mercedes shows up and goes straight for the title. Well, if that's the case, does it make more sense for Toni Storm to be the champion and Deonna Purrazzo, or does it matter? I'm kind of torn on.
Yeah, I am too.
Honestly. Where this could go, because I do think that matters.
Yeah, it's the insertion of Mercedes into this division really makes me just question a lot.
Yeah, it changes everything. It changes everything.
Like I would say, even fuck the rankings, and you just put it right to the top.
Yeah,
like it's. However, someone cut a promo last night on Collision.
I did. Yes, I did want to talk about this. I'll let you lead, because I do think that has nothing to do with this Revolution pay-per-view. But
the wording was very interesting.
Correct. Because she said, I've beaten everybody. I'm undefeated. There's nobody here. I'm the final boss.
Yep.
Serena Deeb said at the end of that promo.
So I wouldn't hate that either, because Serena Deeb's stock has risen the last couple of weeks. So if that becomes Mercedes' first feud in the company, I definitely see Toni Storm retaining.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like there's not just Mercedes coming in, but at some point, Jamie Hayter's coming back.
Britt Baker
as well.
So there's some heavy hitters that we haven't seen.
There could be a potential for like a 4-way match for this title at an upcoming pay-per-view. Maybe Double or Nothing. Yeah, I don't know when Jamie's going to be back. But
I don't either, but I would expect if she's back and healthy, she's main eventing or fighting for the women's title at All In England. I mean, that's happening if she's here, So, but yeah, you mentioned Jamie Hayter, you mentioned Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa just came back.
Right.
Now you got Mercedes
and Deonna.
And again, I'm not the hugest fan of hers, but like Saraya hasn't been around for a while. Like you got some big name people that have not been around.
Listen to those rankings from February 10th. Number 1, the contender, Deonna Purrazzo.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Thunder Rosa. 3 is Hikaru Shida, who we haven't seen in a little bit. 4, Sky Blue.
Mm-hmm.
5, Mariah May.
And that's part of the reason why I think Tony Storm
And
might
that,
retain, because
yeah,
there's a story there that they're clearly building to with Tony Storm and Mariah May.
on Beards, I said that their feud didn't need the title, but now that I'm looking at the contenders, I'm looking at these rankings, I'm going, Mariah May, she just won a match.
Yep. And then
So
Tony
she may
Storm
have
came out and
even risen a
overshadowed
little
her.
bit
Yep.
because this was February 10th. It's now March 3rd.
Yep.
She may have risen slightly. Deanna, if she loses, she's going to come down. You've got the chance where there's Thunder Rosa's number 2 right now. She also won. Sheeta, it's interesting Sheeta's there because she hasn't been on TV all year, pretty much.
Well, she was the champ. She won the championship and Tony won it back from her.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But that was
That was a while ago now, though.
Yeah, it was like late last year.
Sky
I don't
Blue.
recall seeing Sheeta anytime recently. Super recently.
And no, she's not married to Otani, by the
I
way.
know
That was fake.
that whole thing.
Um,
Imagine though. Wow.
that would
would
have
have
been incredible.
If true, that would have been like, what?
Yeah. Sky Blue is in a match tonight in a tag match, not a singles match. So I don't know what that'll do for her in the rankings. So Mariah May being included in the rankings as of February 10th makes me think Tony Storm definitely retains. Maybe even with the help of Mariah May.
All right.
And then she'll continue picking up some victories, and the tension will start between them because they're going to notice, oh, who's coming up as number 1? Who's very close to number 1? Mariah May, and Tony Storm is not going to be happy with that. So that would be, I think, a really fun way to have the women's title go when Mercedes debuts and Mercedes goes in the Serena Deeb direction and maybe even the Britt Baker direction.
That'd be fun.
Or Saraya, like a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, you could do a whole bunch of stuff. All right. I mean, again, there's many ways that it can go.
I'd love to see I'd love to see Mercedes and Abaddon. That would be a really cool match.
I want to see Mercedes just fight everybody. Fight them all. I'm excited to see her. It's been a while. I'm excited.
So I picked Tony Storm.
All right. I am with you. I'm picking Tony Storm as well. All right. We are down to our final 2 matches of Revolution. We have a 3-way for the AEW World Championship. It will be Samoa Joe defending against Swerve Strickland and Adam Hangman Page. We talked about it briefly earlier. A lot of people, like I said, including me, believe that this is Swerve's time. But I think we're going to have to wait just a little bit more, Drew.
Yeah.
I think that the Hangman Swerve dynamic is going to come into play tonight. And Hangman, at this point, I feel like Hangman cares more about preventing Swerve to win the world title than actually winning the world title.
Oh, agreed. Absolutely.
And
he said he would rather die than have Swerve be champion.
Yes. And I think if you asked Hangman Adam Page right now, would you prefer to win the world title or would you prefer Swerve not to win it? He would prefer Swerve not to win it. That's where he's at mentally. He's losing his mind. And I think that the dynamic between Swerve and Hangman, they can't get over it. They can't stay away from each other. And I think Samoa Joe reaps the benefits and Samoa Joe will retain because of that. That's where I'm leaning when it comes to this. And then I think Swerve will get the one-on-one at some point, and that's Swerve's time. Where he gets the one-on-one, whether it's with Joe or Hangman or somebody, whoever. But Swerve will get his one-on-one time, and real soon. And Swerve will be the next or new AEW World Champion soon. I just don't think it's tonight. I think Joe retains.
Yeah, same. I'm looking at the rankings again. I saw Takeshita's 5. Mm-hmm. That really does make me think now that he's winning tonight.
He could shoot up.
And John Moxley is 4, Adam Copeland is 3, but Adam Copeland's out right now.
Yep.
So, yeah, I feel like Samoa Joe being champion, because when Wardlow has talked about being champion,
Yep.
he doesn't really talk about the title itself. He talks about Joe, like he's coming after Joe. So that also makes me think that Samoa Joe is retaining.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I like about this is that they don't always do clear babyface, clear heel matches.
Yep.
They do what makes sense. So Joe and Wardlow have already wrestled each other before,
Mm-hmm.
involving this championship up here, the TNT
Sure have.
championship. And I think that even though both are leaning heel, like we were saying, in that match, I kind of feel like Wardlow would be more of a babyface
Oh
because
yeah.
of what's been going on with him.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I think that match makes sense. Wardlow and Swerve, they've never interacted before, really.
Yep.
So there's no like story there. The story is Samoa Joe and Wardlow.
Mm-hmm.
And the story is Swerve and Hangman just being so violent against each other because they hate each other so much
Mm-hmm.
that Samoa Joe takes advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I picked Samoa Joe to retain as much as I too want Swerve to win.
Of course. I think we all want Swerve to win.
The
Truly. I think
story,
most
the good
yeah.
story, the really good story that's being told here is that Hangman attacking him on Dynamite reinvigorated that violence in Swerve,
Yep.
and that's gonna make them forget that they're even in a title match, and Samoa Joe capitalizes. So,
Yep. I agree. I think that's where it goes big time. And then I think you eventually I mean at some I expect Swerve. I expect Swerve and um Hangman to kind of be the feud that kind of lasts forever here, right? But at some point you need
they
to
are a
separate
legitimate
that.
fight forever.
Yes. Yes. But at some point you need to separate. They need to do their own things and then they can kind of come back to each other,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So like I feel like whatever happens tonight in the three-way causes Joe to win. Then you have that final Swerve and Hangman blow off for a while, right? Swerve can go, you cost me. It was my time. We're doing this.
And,
You
I'm
have the
gonna be
final
honest
blow
with
off.
you,
And then,
I don't
yeah,
hate Mike's idea of them doing an exploding barbed wire death match.
I don't either. I thought that was a good idea.
I
Dude,
actually really like
Hangman
that idea.
drank his blood. What else can you do
Yeah.
to make it more, Anyway. All right. It's time. What we think will be the main event of the evening
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the main event.
will be for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It will also be Sting's retirement match. It's a tornado tag match. And it is Sting and Darby Allin defending against Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks. Now, we didn't talk about what happened on Dynamite with the Young Bucks, but the Young Bucks were littered throughout Dynamite.
Yeah.
They started off the show being interviewed out back by Renee, and they said that they were looking for Sting because they wanted to have a proper exit interview with him, which I
That
thought
was
was
so
wonderful.
great.
I was
That was so
wonderful.
great.
I actually said it before Matt said it. Oh, I'm sorry, Matthew. Before Matthew said it, I actually said it. Like he was like, "Oh, we're just looking for him. We want to have a proper." And I was like, "Exit interview." And then he was like, "Exit interview." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's awesome." I was like, "That's awesome." Then we saw later on they got in Eddie Kingston's face a little bit. They were ragging on Eddie Kingston because Eddie Kingston was talking crap about the Bucks about what they did to Sting and Darby a few weeks prior. Then we saw them looking for Sting, and they went into the locker room, and there were all the black bats hanging from the ceiling, which was a cool visual. And then at the end of the night, we saw the Young Bucks, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Drew. They came out, they confronted what the hell? Why can't I say Darby Allin, right? Darby Allin, Starby. What the fuck's wrong with me? The Young Bucks came out and confronted Sting and Darby Allin. And
They confronted
Allin,
Darby Allin first.
well, yes, because they were coming out and there were a bunch of people in Sting masks that the Young Bucks were kind of shitting on in the crowd and stuff like that. And one of those people was Darby Allin. And he takes the mask off, he dives over the barricade, they're fighting, all that stuff. Then they're starting to beat him with baseball bats. Then we see somebody else that we don't need to see on our television screens anymore. Ric Flair comes out. It looks like he's going to help. They're holding Darby Allin up so Rick can chop him or do whatever, punch him. And he starts attacking the Young Bucks with some of the worst chops and punches I've ever seen. Why is that guy on my fucking TV screen? Anyway, so that happens. And the Young Bucks start to leave. And they're walking up the ramp saying they're going to find Sting. And what do we see? We see a throwback to when I felt like I was a 14-year-old kid again. I blacked out. I was so pumped. Sting comes down from the ceiling. Oh, Drew. I loved it. I was losing my mind. I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. It was so awesome.
Yeah,
He comes down from the ceiling.
I was not a WCW kid at all.
I was not a WCW kid, but once the NWO and Sting, and like I started watching when it got to its fever, like, you know. So I was watching at that point, and Sting ruled. The Crow, oh, God.
The Crow Sting debut. I said this on my Roundtable News Network show yesterday. That's what really got me into Sting, and I saw that way later, like 2016. I hadn't seen that before. I was like, holy crap, that is special. That's one of the most special entrances I've ever seen.
Yep.
And so yeah, I mean, I really only got to know Sting truly from this AEW run. And he had the WWE run, but that was bullshit.
That didn't do him any justice.
But for him to come out of what he thought was retirement and have this incredible run the last couple of years in AEW is so special, and I'm honored to have been able to witness it in person a few times.
Yep.
My last time at World's End. And yeah, it's just the career that he's had is incredible, and there's been so much that's come out this past week. The Players Tribune did a couple of things. Darby Allin
They just did something today.
Oh, they did something today?
They released something.
Oh, was it the voicemails?
Yeah, it's the voicemail. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard all of them yet.
No, I just got a thing for it. It says, "Hey Sting," and it says in honor of Sting's final match. Their voicemails from all his kids, his wife, Jeff Jarrett, Paul White, Dustin Rhodes, Britt Baker, Adam Copeland, Chris Jericho, Eddie Kingston, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, Billy Gunn, Max Caster, Arn Anderson, Tony Schiavone. So there's all
I saw Tony Schiavone's
audio.
That was
clips.
Really cool.
Yeah. So they got a whole bunch of stuff. They just released a whole big thing on it on Players Tribune. So
this is the retirement.
This is a big moment. The Ringer had a couple articles about like this is there's one of those things where like there's people that have been wrestling fans that fell out of wrestling. There's people that have been watching it for a really, really long time. I feel like when you hear the name Sting, this is somebody that if you've been a wrestling fan for the last 35, 40 years, you know Sting. You know Sting. And this is a thing that like, even though it's wrestling, it's like almost larger than wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of emotional people tonight.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of people. I think we're going to see a lot of old wrestlers, a lot of stars, a lot of people there for this moment because I know we shit on Jericho for obvious reasons, but I think Jericho said something. I saw a quote from him. He said, "Sting might be the only guy in the history of the business that I've never heard a person say a bad word about. Not one person has ever said anything bad about that guy." And that says a lot because this is a business where everybody talks shit. That's what we do for a living is talk shit.
That is true.
And you're a pro wrestler. And Jericho was like, I've never met anybody. I've never had a bad experience. And I've never heard anybody say one negative word about that guy. And that says a lot about who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can see, like, it must be so unreal for those younger talents in AEW to have been around that guy for 3 or 4 years. To just see Sting walking in the back and just be like, this is insane, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
the Young Bucks.
somebody I know that knows Matthew and Nicholas Jackson.
I was just going to mention them. Yeah.
Said to me yesterday that their dream match. This is their dream match.
They have
to be fighting Sting.
They have come out and they said that this is the most important match of their career. And I don't think that's hyperbole. I think they mean that.
Yeah.
But the Young Bucks have done a lot of things. The Young Bucks, first independent wrestlers to earn $1 million. They helped create AEW. They have done a lot in their careers. They are wrestling Hall of Famers, in my opinion. They have done a lot. And for them to come out and say, hey, this match against Sting on tonight is the most important match of our lives, of our careers, that shows you what Sting means to them.
Yeah.
Right off the jump, But more specifically, Drew, how's this ending tonight?
I think the Young Bucks are winning.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that the right thing, of course, and I'm sure Sting agrees, and Sting wants to put over somebody on his way out.
Mm-hmm.
Omar, I believe, said, which I totally forgot, that Darby Allin is going to be climbing a Mount. What is it?
He's doing Mount Everest in April. I believe that was our buddy Scott in the chat. But yes,
Scott.
Yes.
Okay.
No, yeah. Darby is climbing Mount Everest in April, so it's a month away. But I assume he has to prepare for that. So
yeah, and he could be off TV for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Sting obviously will be off TV after tonight, so I think it just makes the most sense for the EVPs, this rejuvenated, incredible version of the Young Bucks.
I said it on Beards. It's the best version of the Young Bucks since AEW has started. This is the best.
Yeah.
My favorite and the best that they have been since this company has started. Without question. Without question to me.
And I think that it's the right time. They haven't had the tag titles for like 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Let them have them. Let Moxley and Claudio, or FTR, if it's going to be FTR.
There's so many tag teams, Drew. I think the Young Bucks being the champions, like that, it levels up the tag team division.
Yeah,
where they can just fight everybody, just fight them all.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah.
So yeah, I picked the Young Bucks to win.
I agree with you. I think the Young Bucks do win, and then I think they kind of exit stage left, and then we all have our moment with Sting.
Yes, and then we all have a good cry.
Yeah, and then we all have that moment where he's in the ring. He says his farewell. I would assume he'll maybe say a speech or something like that. But I think that's how it goes. As the Young Bucks win, they celebrate. They kind of exit stage left, and then we're going to end tonight, like you said, having a good cry and being emotional about Sting. Sting being done because the dude's been in our lives for 30, 40 years, and I'll tell you this because I was not a WCW kid, and obviously he was a better, in shape, in the TNA WCW days. But this is the most I've enjoyed Sting in my wrestling life, has been this AEW stuff for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Usually, we usually go 2 hours, but with the pay-per-view and stuff like that and kind of the way we've layered it in, that's basically it for us. We went through the whole card. We talked about anything that happened on Dynamite and Collision this week that would have taken into account tonight. So we're actually going to get out of here a little bit earlier today. And I think maybe on pay-per-view days moving forward, we'll start doing that. Like Drew said, instead of going through the shows, we'll just talk about the card in general and then layer in. I think that's probably
Yeah.
a cleaner
I really like that
way to
format.
do
I
it.
think that's really
Yeah.
good.
So I think on pay-per-view days, which again, we have, well, there'll probably be one a month now sooner than later, but yeah, we'll do it that way. But on just in general, thank you guys for hanging in. Everyone enjoy Revolution tonight. It should be emotional. It should be a really, really great show. The card is stacked. A lot of matches that it can go either way, which I think creates more excitement. And then obviously the Sting retirement. Drew, quickly before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter. You can find me on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast, where we do shows on Mondays after Raw, Wednesdays after Dynamite, where we do a trivia. Trivia is always fun.
Love trivia.
And Fridays after SmackDown, and the Roundtable News Network every Saturdays. Those are really fun. I get to do those with Bad Blood, a veteran himself in the wrestling business. And I cover the Super Chats and Humper Chats over on the AEW Collision post show for Fightful. So come there after Collision. We always have a great time with Rick, Iridian, and Cresta, or some version of them, because it's not always the
there's like
trio.
a
Sometimes,
rotating thing
yeah.
sometimes.
So you can find me in all those places.
Love it. Love it. You can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms and over on Twitch and YouTube as well. You can find me here every Sunday with Drew talking AEW and Firmly Here. You can find me Thursday nights, 8 p.m., the flagship of Love Pro Wrestling, Between Two Beards with my boy, Pluggo. That's where you can find us. Drew and I will be back here next Sunday morning talking the fallout of AEW Revolution and the shows and what happened afterwards. And you can find me Thursdays and just kind of everywhere on JPJ Loves Gaming. So again, everyone enjoy the show tonight. Drew and I will see you next week. You guys know the drill at this point. Until then, peace out.